Alright, I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible because, well, I have very little experience when it comes to making videos, but I watch a lot of videos on YouTube, and one of my biggest self-criticisms is that sometimes these videos kind of drag out a bit longer than what I would like them to. So I'm going to try to keep this brief while not sacrificing any information here. So just to get a few things out of the way really quickly, I'm going to be doing a giveaway for this video in particular. Couple caveats with that. You're only going to be eligible to win if you're a member of the clan that I'm in here, Rise of the Wolves. Essentially what I'm going to be doing is the first person that posts in our Clue Discord will be getting an item. If they post a screenshot of them getting that broadcasted item. The only thing is it can't be the pet, just because that doesn't really seem fair. If you want a clan, this one that I'm in here, very good. Again, Rise of the Wolves. You can join it as a guest, ask for an invite, and then join the Discord. And that's the only thing, is you got to post a screenshot of you getting the broadcasted item, as well as include the date in there, just so it can't be fabricated. Another thing I'd like to talk about is I'm obviously very new with this, so if you're looking for something that is of a high quality production, I'm not quite there yet. I'm mostly just posting these for informational purposes, so hopefully that's the main thing that people are here for. Very briefly, I wrote up a little list. I'm going to go over the items that I have in my Elite Clue preset, just in case there's anybody that isn't familiar with what these items are or how to obtain them. Like anything else in this game, if you'd want some more information, you can look it up on the wiki. But I'm going to just go over this very quickly here. So the number one thing you're going to want is Alt 1. If you just Google Alt 1, it's going to be the first link. You're going to want to hit download on that. Another thing that's helpful here is the Clue Trainer plugin. And to get to that, if you just Google Clue Trainer Alt 1, you're going to want to click on the Reddit link, and the link is posted in there. These are going to be your two most helpful resources. So really briefly here, I'm going to try to get through this as fast as possible. We're just going to go over all my items in here. Your Dragonkin Laboratory teleports. You're going to get those from the Dungeoneering Reward Shop. I believe they're 1,000 tokens each. They're very helpful. Otherwise, if you don't have the tokens or you don't want to spend these, it's a bit of a reach, but you can always reattune your Max Guild portal or the one in War's Retreat to the Dragonkin Laboratory. But if you have some extra tokens lying around that you're not doing anything with, these are super nice. It's only for one clue step, so this isn't going to make or break anything. Second here, I've got the Archaeology teleports. You can either buy them from the GE, or if you don't want to spend the money or you're an Iron Man, you can get them from the Archaeology Reward Shop. Then we've got Dave's Spellbook. You get this from Evil Dave's Big Day Out quest. The big ones you're going to want to have in here are going to be your Ardougne teleport tablets, as well as the Watchtower teleport tablets. The Falador ones are kind of nice. I have them in there, just saves a couple seconds, but Ardougne and Watchtower are going to be your biggest ones, and you just have to buy those relevant teleport tablets, use them on the spellbook. Then I believe it chips them, and then you can add them to it. Or it's been a while. I put a bunch of them in here, so I haven't refilled it in a while, but this is super nice. Then you've got the Rune Pouch. Again, can either buy it or make it with the Abyssal Thread from Abyss Rune Crafting. And in here I have the teleports for Spellbook Swap, because you're going to want to be on the Lunar Spellbook. There's a lot of Elite Clue specific teleport locations in the Lunar Spellbook that save you a good amount of time, so if you can afford it or if you want to do the rune crafting, I'd say it's worthwhile. Next we have the Portable Fairy Ring. Some of these items are going to be pretty steep in terms of level or quest requirements. I'm not saying you have to have these items, but this is what I use, and I figured I'd just kind of go over it. So you're going to need 94 invention to make one of these. I don't know offhand what you need to make it, but if you have the invention level, you can make them. And this, obviously, as the name would imply, is just a portable fairy ring that's super helpful. Next, we have the Big Book of Piracy. You're going to get that from the Pieces of Hate quest. The quest, I did it a long time ago, but I still remember how much of a pain in the ass the end was. There's some kind of puzzle you have to do, and I remember it just being super annoying, but if you have done the quest, or if you are willing to Oh, brave that. This is super helpful. It's very, very fast to get to mostly harmless with this, and for whatever reason, I know me personally, I get that clue step quite a bit, so this saves you a lot of time. You don't have to run from the Port Phasmatis docks. It's just a huge time save, and I really recommend it. The Ectophile you're going to get from the Ghost Ahoy quest. The Enchanted Lyre, you get that from the Fremennik Trials quest. Again, this is kind of a steep requirement, but I recommend the Elite Fremennik Achievement Diaries for the additional teleports. House tabs are pretty self-explanatory, either GE or you can make them on your, I can't remember which one it is, but one of the lecterns. I'm sure anybody that's watching this it will figure out how to make teleport tablets. Your Goblin Village spheres, you have to do the Death to the Dorgeshuun quest. I believe it's 2 Law Runes and a Molten Glass, and you just trade with Oldak, and he makes a bunch of them. You can bring him Noted Molten Glass. This one is just for 1 clue step, so it's not super important, but I figure if you've got the space, you might as well utilize it. Your Desert Amulet, that's going to be the Elite Desert Diaries. I would say if you can at least teleport to Narda, and I mean, I've had the Elite Diary done for so long that I don't know off the top of my head what level you need to complete to get to Narda, but the Oozer teleport is kind of nice, so I would try to shoot for the Desert Amulet 4, but otherwise I believe the Desert Amulet 3 also accomplishes more or less the same thing. Passage of the Abyss, these are super helpful. You're going to need, what is it? I think it's 118 invention for these. What you can do is you can store just a ton of jewelry teleports in here. I'll just kind of go over really quickly. I won't break down where each of these teleports go, but in my first one, Combat Bracelet, Enlightened Amulet, Ring of Respawn, Traveler's Necklace. Then in my second one, I have a Glory, Slayer Ring, Games Necklace, Dig Site Pendant, Skills Necklace, Ring of Dueling. And again, if you want to look these up on the wiki to get a little more information, absolutely do so. Very useful though. I would highly recommend it. The level requirement's a bit steep, but if you have it and you're willing to spend the money, because I think you need an alchemical onyx to make them, these are very, very worthwhile. Dorgeshuun spheres, same thing as with the Goblin Village spheres. 2 Law Runes and a Molten Glass at Oldak. These obviously teleport you right to Dorgeshuun, super helpful. Skull Scepter, you're going to get that from the Stronghold of Security, killing various monsters in there. And again, this is another one of those items where it really only has 1 useful teleport, but it's useful nonetheless. The Spirit Tree Rerouter, that's a 92 invention requirement. And just like the Fairy Ring, pretty self-explanatory. You can teleport to all the different spirit trees. Ring of Kinship, that's just the Dungeoneering ring. The Fremennik Sea Boots, I pretty much just have that teleport to Relica. I don't even really need this because I can do the same thing with my Lyre, but this has charges and this doesn't, so I throw it in there. Elite Clues, I just like to keep my stack on me, so that's where I have them. The Draken's Medallion, let me pull up my little list here. That is the Branches of Darkmire quest, and you can charge it with the Congealed Blood. And this is one thing that's super nice because it's a pain in, well, I shouldn't say a pain in the ass, but you can recharge it in Berg de Rot, but I think it's just much easier to buy it, use it on there, and that's how I have, well, I've actually used quite a bit, but I've got like 300 odd charges on there. My Noted Vials, now this is super sweaty, but if you want to be, I guess, as efficient as possible, I disassemble these while I'm solving clues with the Bic book. You definitely don't have to do it, but this helps me get back some of the clues that I've lost through solving. Now, one thing that you're going to want to do, if I move this out of the way, if you go into your interfaces, information windows, you're going to want to make sure that your Make X progress window is unchecked, because otherwise it's going to interrupt your actions. So if you want to do this, you certainly can, but I wouldn't hold it against anybody if they didn't want to, because admittedly it is pretty sweaty. But that's the options there for anybody that wants it. Your Menaphos journal, you're going to get that from the Jack of Spades quest, and you can, if you teleport with it, you can use the various different district teleports. One thing I will say is these teleports are very rarely sold in the GE, so I've had to pay about 40K per teleport for these at times, and I'm not too proud to admit that there have been numerous times where I just felt it was more worthwhile for me to just make the tablets, but you can kind of, I guess, base that on how much money you want to spend. You can either buy them or make them, same way as you would with the house tablets. The Arc Journal, you're going to get that from the Impressing the Locals quest. Now these teleports are a little more annoying because you have to use chimes to buy the teleport tabs. But if you have extra chimes lying around, super helpful, mostly for, I shouldn't even say mostly, exclusively for master clues. The only reason I have it in here is more or less because I've always had it in here, and I don't know, I'm a creature of habit. So now that I'm kind of talking about it, you can actually ignore this because you're not going to be using this for any of the elite clue steps, but it's a useful item for master clues if you feel like doing those as well. Now, Scepter of the Gods used to be a bitch and a half to get. It was super rare, but they changed it, I don't know, maybe a year, 2 years ago, where they added a bad luck mitigation, so it's substantially faster to get this now, and this offers all the same teleports as the regular Scepter, except it has far more charges, and if memory serves, you can add more charges to it by completing the various tiers of the Desert Diary. And then these are pretty self-explanatory. I just have extra fairy rings and extra spirit trees for when these run out. I've got the full clue, the full Globetrotter outfit, rather. Now, it is technically more efficient to use the Nature Sentinel outfit, but I just don't like doing it, so that's why I have this. Luck of the Dwarves, I have the relic for it, but the Dwarven Outpost teleport is useful for that one. Well, I guess there are 2 steps that this teleport's useful for. I think the Onyx Core thing is going for like 800 or 900 mils, so certainly not worth it, but if you're like me and you do a ton of clues, every little advantage helps, so that's why I have this here. And also the Grand Exchange teleport's helpful for the Varrock scan. I've got the 2 Lang swords. I believe Necromancy is actually faster for killing the double agents, again, just for master clues because I use the Meerkat scrolls, but I just have them on there. My offhand, I have the Glowworm perk, and that's just for the scan step underneath the Lumbridge Swamp. You need some kind of light source, and I already had mobile on it, so I figured I'd put Glowworm on there so I don't have to take up an inventory slot. The Quiver, I don't know if you actually need to wear it for the traps in the elf camp, like the trees that you can climb through. But I believe if you have the hard or the elite diary, it makes it so you essentially instantly travel through them. And also the teleports are super helpful for the elf land scan clues. Grace of the Elves, I've got Overgrown Idols and Lava Flow Mine attuned. Again, just for faster teleports to specific clue locations. My backpack, I have in my Max Cape the Master Quest Cape. You can use the regular Quest Cape, they offer the exact same teleports. The Slayer Cape and the Dungeoneering Cape, again, just for faster teleports. The Big Book, because as I explained, I disassemble vials as I solve clues. Now, your Wicked Hood is super useful because, specifically with the Xanaris clue step, I'm hoping that it pops up in this video, but the Cosmic Altar teleport can be a very fast way to solve that. This is my ability bar that I use. You can kind of custom make it to your liking. Again, like I mentioned, Necromancy, I believe, is technically faster, but I've always used melee. I like using melee, and that's kind of what I have been doing, so I'm going to keep doing it. Now, my 9th slot here, I have the spellbook swapped to the standard spellbook. What I have is, I have a gaming mouse, and I have keybound one of the side buttons on my mouse to the number 9. So when I'm looking to teleport, say I need to go to Falador, I just hit the side button, and then I can teleport right to Falador, so that's what that's all about. Bladed Dive and Surge are going to be your best friends. Obviously, if you can get around the game faster, you're going to be solving clues faster. Highly recommend getting Double Surge. You can either buy the codex from the GE or run around and do the Anachrony Agility course. Definitely recommend both of these. I have my familiar icon, I guess, set to D, and then I have in my settings so that the left click option is the special move, and this is just a dig with the Meerkats. In F here I have disassemble, and that's so I can just disassemble these vials while I'm solving clues. And then lastly, this is just for master clues. There's no emote clues in elites, so I just have it there because I use this exact same ability bar for master clues, but that's why it's there. So I'm going to try really quick here because I've already spent a lot of time. I want to solve through some elites while giving some, while giving some tips just to hopefully try to help out anybody that might not know some of this information. So as you saw, I summoned my Meerkat. One thing that I didn't know for the longest time, you can use this just like any other summoning familiar, so I don't know why I never thought of it, but you can use the scrolls on your Meerkats to store them in there. And then the reason I have these body runes is on the lunar... Oh, I see, I'm still in the regular spellbook, so I'm going to teleport just to get back on lunars. In the combat spells, your spiritual healing here, if you notice right here it says I have 63 minutes of my familiar, but if I use this, it goes up to 72, so it's not a huge difference, but Meerkat pouches are kind of pricey, so if I can make them last longer, I like to. Now I'm going to go back in here and grab out my vials because I accidentally banked those. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to solve some clues while trying to kind of give some explanation or some tips as I go along, and I'm going to try to do this as quickly as I can so that this video doesn't end up being an hour long, but I also want to be thorough with it. So this is actually, if you happen to watch my first guide video that I made, I mentioned that there are a lot of scan steps where if you're standing in a specific location and it changes colors, you're able to immediately know where that clue is going to be. So because it turned yellow here, and if you look at my mini-map, the smaller square is going to be the area that you are, you're in the immediate area of any potential location, and this bigger yellow square shows that, or for lack of better words, if the circle under your feet here is yellow, that means that you're within this yellow square here, and that the clue is going to be within this yellow square. Now I happen to know just from doing so many clues that it's going to be either in this area here, but more than likely right in this little corridor. Well, maybe I'm lying to you. It's going to be right here. But essentially the point that I'm trying to make is if you see it like that, where it's yellow, you immediately know that you're in the vicinity of the clue location. Now, if you notice here, this is the Clue Trainer plugin working here. So the old solver, you'd have to follow the squares as they lit up and solve it that way. This is what makes the Clue Trainer plugin so nice, is you can go at your own pace, but you're going to want to click the bigger square first and then just follow it along. And with the recent update making it so that slider puzzles don't require nearly as many steps, it's just so much faster to solve them. So now we're going to Mosla Harmless, and this is why I really recommend getting the book, because it teleports you right here rather than having to charter the ship. It just saves you so much time. What I like to do is I like to surge up here a decent little bit, and if the circle under my feet is still blue, I know it's not going to be in this northern portion. So then what I do is I come back this way, I surge, I bladed dive over. You can see that the circle under my feet has now turned that orangish color, which means that I am very, very close to the actual clue location. So then I surge up here a couple times. It could be over here, but it's not, so I know it's going to be right up here in this northern spot. One big tip, and you can apply this to multiple things, not just clues, but the way that surge and bladed dive works is... Sorry, I'm not very good at talking while I solve these. But surge specifically will teleport you in a straight line. Bladed dive, you have more options as to which direction you want to go. But one thing that's really nice is as long as you're going in a diagonal direction, you can kind of bypass the requirements, so to speak. So like if we look here, obviously if I stand here and I surge north, I get stuck behind this lavender here. But if you use bladed dive, you see that my icon turned into that sword. If you go at a diagonal and we look here, straight ahead of me, if we just look at these tiles straight ahead, is that tree. But since I'm facing diagonal, I can kind of surge beyond it a little bit. And I'll try to illustrate that a little bit more as I solve through these clues, but it's super helpful. As long as you bladed dive first, you can kind of navigate through some areas that you wouldn't normally be able to navigate through if you just use surge. I'm going to try to provide tips as they come up without sacrificing too much speed here, because I know for most people the main reason that they would want to do clues is for making money, which I totally understand, but I really like clues for the aspect of just getting new items, and that's always been what's really alluring for me anyway. So now with the Brimhaven step, you can see that it's already yellow, which means it's going to be somewhere down here. There it is. Another quick thing, you see that the actual location is one tile to my southwest. As long as you're in a one tile radius of it, as you can see, I'm in the corner there, you're able to actually dig up that clue without having to stand on the direct tile. One thing I like to do for these compass clues, it's not technically the most efficient, but again, it's just one of those things that I've always done and have a really hard time deviating from. I like to use the lodestones to narrow down where the compass is going to be at. So you can use whatever you want, but that's just what I do. And then I have the quick charge teleports with the Viswax just to speed things up a little bit. And then also the teleport animation, I'll have to look because I don't know what it is offhand. Right here, the Shadow Rip teleport, believe it or not, is actually slightly faster. And I think there are 3 different teleports that are also the same way, but this one is slightly faster than the other teleport animations. So it's a very small difference, but when it comes to solving clues, that's what you're really looking for. All these small differences add up to bigger differences when you take everything into consideration. The Falador step, what I like to do is teleport with my Passage of the Abyss to the Ring of Respawn, teleport to Falador, and it teleports me right in the center there, and that really helps to narrow down where it's going to end up being. So you saw there I used the Bladed Dive and Surge in combination with each other, and that allowed me to surge through those buildings that I wouldn't have been able to if I just used Surge without the Bladed Dive. So they go, and here's another example, I can Bladed Dive right through that building. So a lot of these things, they work in tandem with one another. So it's kind of just a matter of getting a feel for it, and like anything in the world, the more you practice at it, the better you're gonna get. And one thing that I guess I kind of want to reiterate is the most important thing that I'm trying to do here is just provide information to people. I know that these videos aren't exactly visually stunning or high quality, but that's just not the kind of person I am. I don't really have the knowledge to do that, and I'm not looking to make anything pretty. I'm looking to make things that are informative because I really like solving clues, and I like seeing new people get into clues. It's one of the most exciting aspects of the game to me, and if more people get into it, that's just more fun that I get to have, because I love it when I see people that I know that are getting broadcasts and things like that. I really don't care about the money anymore. I mean, I've been able to buy anything that I could ever want, so mostly what I'm doing this, I shouldn't say mostly, essentially all I'm doing this for is just the excitement of getting new items. But when I first started doing clues, I absolutely was in it for the money. I do have a little mini side project where I'm trying to get a P-hat set just from clues, and so far I have the blue and the yellow, and I'm very close to getting a green. Um, just kind of all a little backstory, I guess, but yeah, I think for people to get involved with clues and to stay doing clues, I think a really good idea is to try to shift your focus from how much money can I make to, you know, what new items can I get, because that'll really keep you motivated throughout your dry streaks, because you absolutely will have them. I mean, there's no getting around it. I mean, you might get a blood die on your 5th clue, or you might not get a single die until your 2000th clue. You know, just like anything in the game, you're gonna have dry streaks, but those dry streaks eventually average out, and you can make a rather substantial amount of money from doing clues, and I can speak on that from first-hand experience. So it's something that you know, you don't want to get demotivated with. Averages always average out, and there's there's a lot of there's a lot of fun and a lot of money that can be made from doing clues if you just stick with them. Now, what I'm gonna do here is just to kind of, oh, I guess, clue people in on the rest of the plans for the rest of the video. I don't want to stretch this out too terribly long because I know it's a little unappealing to see a video that's ridiculously long. But my goal here is I'm going to just get to 5 caskets and point out any tips or suggestions that come to mind as I'm solving them. I don't have any kind of script or anything like that, so I'm kind of just winging this off the top of my head, but that's what we're going to do here. And in the next video, I'm hoping to make a more in-depth kind of thing where I solve more clues, because every scan location there are little tricks that you can do to really speed things up. And as I illustrated without really explaining there, the Arty scan is one of the big ones. I start off with the Ardougne teleport, and if it doesn't, if the lines under my feet are still blue, then that tells me that it's nowhere near the teleport spot. And then I go to the lodestone, I run to that log there because that tells me if it's on that other side of the log over by what is that? I know it's in Old School, but I can't for the life of me remember if it's the same in RS3, but the guy that you get the Arty cloak from, I might be confusing it with Old School, so I apologize if I'm spreading misinformation, but it's not my intention for what it's worth. And then with the Haunted Woods scan, it's essentially the same thing. You know, you just kind of try to narrow down your search, because I know when I first started I was searching just about anywhere that it could possibly be. But if you're scanning where it can possibly be, it's going to take you a lot longer. Whereas if you can kind of narrow down your options, I mean, it sounds obvious, but if you really get into the mindset of trying to narrow down your possibilities, it's going to substantially increase the speed at which you can solve these clues. That's why every little bit helps. You know, if it's a requirement, you're like, man, that seems kind of lengthy. I don't know if I really want to do all that. That is absolutely fine. You know, you just like anything in the game, you can play the game the way that you want to, but to avoid people feeling like it's a waste of time, every little improvement that you can make is going to add up over time and drastically increase how long it takes to solve these clues. Now, the Narda scan, when I was first starting, was, well, and this isn't going to be a very good illustration because you can see that the lines are already, or circles are already orange, so I know it's going to be close by. But, this one always took me a long time. But what I like to do is I run north. I mean, I'm not going to show it here, but there's a a rock formation just north of the Narda teleport spot, and if the circles are still blue, then what I do is I either use the Desert Amulet to teleport to Uzer. Otherwise, in this Passage of the Abyss, I have the Traveler's Necklace, and if you go to the south of the Desert Eagles location, it almost always is very close to where the clue's actually going to be at. And again, like I mentioned, in a future video, I want to really go over every clue step just to kind of show you what I feel is the most optimized route for them. Well, I might be able to do it here. But, you know, I'm by no means claiming that this is the absolute best way. I'm just saying that this is the way that works best for me. So you can certainly make adjustments as you see fit, or something that suits your playstyle a little bit more. And I'm actually just going to turn off my big book because I realize that I'm so distracted with talking that I haven't been disassembling anything. And with how expensive these pages are, I do not want to waste any of them. But, as I was explaining before, you saw that I teleported that rock formation. And I know it's going to be somewhere around here. And you see how it just turned blue, so I know that it's not going to be over where I was at. So I'm going to backtrack a little bit. And the clue location is over here. That's the biggest thing that's going to help you, is learning how to read these circles and understand what it is that it's saying to you exactly. So then with this step, I just surge off to the side, bladed dive diagonally, surge diagonally. So you see all these trees, if you just tried to surge, you're going to get stuck on one of them. But because my character was already positioned at a diagonal, I can do it while just going right through those trees, because for whatever reason, the way that it's coded is if you go at a diagonal, you're able to just, you know, smash through whatever trees or buildings are in your way. The laws of physics no longer apply to you. Now, Zenaris is an interesting one, because I start off with the Slayer Cape, and I go to, and I'm probably going to butcher this, the Chaldar teleport. I come up here, and I can see that it's not over here. So then I take my fairy ring, go to Zenaris, and immediately, so I'm really glad this step came up. Because I checked over on the east side, and it wasn't over there, and then I teleported here, I see that the circles are still blue. Immediately, what that tells you is it's at the Cosmic Altar. And there it is. And there are multiple things like that, where just one or two teleports will immediately tell you where the location's going to be. And eventually I'm going to be making a video that just illustrates those specific locations. And here I like to check my clue, because that'll tell you if it's going to be upstairs or on the main level here. I run up here. And then what I like to do, and I'm by no means saying that any of this stuff is the absolute best way of doing it, but consistency is important. If you find a method that works for you and you do it consistently and you understand it, I feel like that's better than trying to, trying to force yourself to learn something new at the cost of potentially sacrificing some time. So you saw there, I was just about to teleport. I was standing in the corner there, and if the circle is still blue when you're standing in that little corner, more often than not, it's closer to the entrance from the Karamja Lodestone. So that's where I was going to go if I didn't notice that the I don't think I'm paying attention here. If the circle had stayed blue, then I would have teleported there. The Piscatoris area, I like to use the memory strands in my currency pouch. And then I just run through here. And when I clear this pillar, I surge once. And then I wait until I pass this pillar here. Then I bladed dive diagonally, surge diagonally. And the clue location's over here. And again, like I mentioned, I'm going to be stopping once I get my 5th casket. I just wanted to kind of do a few clues while pointing out some little tips and tricks as they came up. But I'm going to be doing a more in-depth kind of thing at... Oh, wow. That was some lag kicking my ass there. But I'm going to be doing a more in-depth guide when I get some time. I mean, I have a full-time job, and I kind of just make these as a hobby, so I'm by no means putting out videos all the time. It's just whenever I have the time to do them. Now, Menaphos, this is where the Menaphos journal comes in handy. I start off with the Merchant District, which is the second option, and I see that the circles are orange, so I'm going to go to the Worker District, which is just right over here, and if it's not over here, I know that it was going to be in the Imperial District just to my south. So, that is all the clues done that I was looking to do, and I just noticed I have enough treasure trail points to buy a skip token. Now, these are by no means, or a reroll token rather, these are by no means efficient to buy. You really should be buying more elite clues, but while I'm at work, I thankfully have a job that allows me to AFK a lot on my phone, so I just passively gather clues that way. So that's why I like to buy the reroll tokens, but if you're looking to be as efficient as possible, I would buy the elite clues themselves. Now, while 5 caskets isn't very much, I am on a bit of a dry streak for elites, so it would be kind of cool to get something. Yeah, I'm not going to reroll 1 mil. I will reroll 88k though. Alright. Not going to reroll a master. Not going to reroll a master. And I'm not going to reroll that. So I didn't get anything all super good or anything like that, but I'm not going to complain. Anyway, I'm going to end this off here. Again, I just kind of want to keep it as brief as I can without sacrificing very much information. So that is what I'm hoping I accomplished here. Again, I am going to be doing a giveaway on this video. You just have to be a member of the clan, post a screenshot of any broadcasted item. For those that don't know, Hards, Elites, and Masters are the only tiers of clue that can give you a broadcasted item, and as long as it's not a pet, you are eligible to win. So it could be a blood dye or it could be a sack of effigies. It doesn't matter to me. The only requirement, again, you got to be in the clan, and I'd like to have a date included in the screenshot, just so I know that it's not an old screenshot. So if anybody's looking to try to take me up on that, good luck with your clues. If you join the clan, join the Discord, post a screenshot. Whenever I see that the first broadcast comes through, I'll be giving that person the item. Like I mentioned, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's pretty substantial. It's not. I'm not going to do anything troll like give a sack of effigies or something. It's something that holds a decent bit of value. And little fun fact, it's actually the first broadcast that I ever got. So that was kind of my thought process for doing that as the giveaway. It's just something I hold a little near and dear. But this is where I'm going to be wrapping things up. Like always, if there's anything specific that anyone wants to see, let me know and I'll do what I can. And yeah, I hope that at least one person took some valuable information from this. So thanks guys, and yeah, let me know how everything goes, and good luck to everybody.